It's a matter of opinion. If I'm right, but I'm leaving off for now to go outside, putting chores and obligations on our pride.
What's going on? And on today's episode of Matter of Opinion, we wanted to talk about a New York Post that I had saw recently that pretty much was encouraging Black women to marry white men. Now I know it's gonna ruffle a lot of feathers. So what came to before I go into detail, what came to mind when you heard that?
Me personally, I feel people should date whoever it is that they feel is right for them.
Okay.
Like, for me, I'm not the one who got to spend the rest of my life with that person. So, if that's the person that make you happy, then hey, go for it. That's how I stand on it.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So, pretty much in the New York Post, they were talking about how we have two of the most powerful positions in the United States are by women of color. Of course, we have Kamala Harris, who is vice president. And then also, we were seeing recently Ketanji Brown Jackson getting sworn into the Supreme Court justice. And the common denominator, other than Ivy League schools and all other stuff, is the fact that they have a white partner. So a lot of people were kind of up in arms about it, but I must admit, and I probably will get some people angry by this, after reading the article I kind of understood where they're coming from, because I think we all have our dating preferences, right? But
Of
according
course.
to the yeah but according to the article, they were saying that if you look at the statistics, right, Black women aren't getting married at the same rate as our counterparts. And even when we do get married, we're not staying married. So some of the things that the article was talking about was how, if you look at statistics, Black men aren't graduating from high school at the same rate as us. I believe they're not even matriculating into college, let alone graduating. So when you look at in terms of like social capital, it looks as though white men probably would be a better counterpart for a Black woman. Also, if you look at some of the divorce rates, they were also saying that a lot of women who, I hate to say this, but a lot of women who marry down end up getting divorced because of that mismatch. So what do you think about that?
See, for that, pretty much what I get from that article is we all know women like stability when it comes to their future as far as marriage go. We understand love play a role into it, but at the end of the day, stability is what matters to them. I believe a lot of Black women growing up is mainly in a lot of impoverished areas.
Mm,
Whereas you do get white people who are in impoverished areas, but a good portion is middle class and up. So when these women are dating, because even Kamala Harris will tell you, like I was in the hood and stuff like this. Like she was started at the bottom and now she rose to the top.
yeah.
And usually, when you get a person who's at the bottom who is working that way to the top, a lot of times, and especially in the Black community, a lot of people don't like to stick beside them and wait for that seed to blossom, so to speak. So getting with a white counterpart, it seemed like they're more less threatened as opposed to a woman's success or a Black woman's success, so to speak.
Hmm.
Because when you look at it from the opposite side of the spectrum, let's look at a lot of these big time celebrity athletes and stuff like this. A lot of them are married to white women, right? Because the white women understand the process of what he's doing is going to be for us. When that athlete was with a Black girl in high school or whatever the case may be, they looked at it as, I'm not saying this speaks for all, but a lot of them tend to don't stick with that player, especially if the player is mediocre through like
Mm,
college, through high school and college, and then when they get to the pros, that's when they blow up. By then, they was already with the white with a white counterpart who stuck with them through thick and thin. So I think in a case like that, you're seeing a lot of a lot of Black women who are successful that are married to white husbands. The white husbands stick through them, through thick and thin, and now you're seeing the fruits of their labor, so to speak. So I believe that they had a lot more resources as opposed to if they was with a Black counterpart. I don't
mm,
think the Black man would have as much resources as the white counterpart would, unfortunately.
mm.
So
I
what's your
see.
take?
I see what you're saying, especially because, again, going off of statistics, right?
Hmm.
Taking emotion and feelings out of it.
Hmm.
When you look at statistics, when you do have more Black women who are, getting into the workforce, becoming more. I think like 42% of us now are
Hmm.
entrepreneurs. And again, looking at the statistics of how many of us go to college, actually get a degree, actually pursue, graduate degrees and beyond, it does come off as if, when you look at your dating circle, unfortunately you will have to, well, not unfortunately, but you will have to open up your circle. And one thing that I've noticed with a lot of black women is they want to stick beside a black man, like they want to choose a black man.
Hmm.
But unfortunately, in our dating experiences, it's not always the best. And as you mentioned, sometimes you have to deal with things like you have some men who are insecure by your accomplishments. They don't look at, I'm not saying all, but some of them don't look at the bigger picture. Like, okay, she's doing this for us. They
Hmm.
look at it as, oh, are you think you're better than me? Or, oh, you think you're trying to change me. And it's like, no, that's not what it is. Naturally, if you elevate, of course you want your partner, right there beside you or helping them in whatever way you can, especially if it's in following their dreams. But a lot of women, like I said, they are closed minded in that aspect of they don't want to date outside their race, which I think also contributes to why so many of us aren't getting married, let alone staying married.
See, another thing I want to add to the equation too is I believe that when black women do go into the avenue of dating a white counterpart, I think their whole approach changes. I don't think like their that attitude and everything like that. I don't think they show that
You trying to
toward
say all black
the
women have an
no,
attitude?
no, no. The reason why I'm saying this is because I think it's something that's instilled in us dating from way back in the day. Whereas we say it now how our most oppressors is ourselves. So if our most oppressors is ourselves, like we don't even trust each other, all this other stuff. When you go to that different face, it's like you have a feeling where you could let your guard down because you feel like, oh, I'm not going to be hurt because this isn't my own. So I think when you deal with your own, you more so have your guard up, and it's like take me as I am. Kind of like okay, if you go to a black owned store and something happens where the item wasn't bad or it wasn't, I mean, the item was bad and it wasn't up to your standard, 9 times out of 10, you say, yo, I'm never coming to this store again. That's why I hate buying from black people or whatever
Mm,
the case may be. But meanwhile, if you go to Walmart or something like that and you buy something that's not up to code, you'll just return it and you're not saying, "Oh, I'm never going to Walmart again." You see what I'm saying? Like we take such a more vitriol approach against our own kind as opposed to people outside of our kind. So I think
mm,
something mentally clicks where when you're dealing outside of your race, so to speak, you tend to like I assume women will tend to let their guard down, but that's like I said from years and years, the distrust in the black community itself.
mm. That's really interesting. That is really
You
interesting.
never thought about that?
No, I never really thought of it that
Yeah,
way. I
yeah.
always looked at it as, especially for women who want to get married but still aren't married, they're of
Hmm.
a certain age, or certain women who reach a certain level in status and they feel like it's hard for them to find a good man. It does almost look like, okay, well, have you tried dating outside of your race
Hmm.
to see, if you would have more luck with them? Like
Hmm.
even in my profession, I've been around more of our counterparts, as opposed to like, men who look like me, or the men who do look like me, they're
Hmm.
looking for men too. So, it's like, in that avenue, it is kind of hard. And I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I have heard over the years, especially I'll say the past, like maybe like 6, 7 years, I always hear from people like, oh, if you dated outside of your race, you'll be married by now. Or, oh, have you ever thought about, talking to such and such? And of course, the person outside of my race. And I'm not gonna lie to you, sometimes it does make you feel like, But it's like, I don't want to just get married just to be married. Like I also, hope that it's for love and
Yeah,
those
yeah,
other
yeah.
things. But it doesn't negate the fact that I do hear that often. Like, oh yeah, you should be with a white man, or oh yeah, if you were with such and such, yeah, you would have been married by now. And it's like, and it's sad that people feel that way. That's how much, like how little faith they have in a black man, where it's like, wow, so okay, because I'm educated and I have these things going for myself, you don't even see me with my own kind. Like,
Hmm.
you think I do better being with someone outside of my race? Like, it's crazy.
See, I could speak on behalf of dating a white person because I date a white woman before. And going into it, yes, initially I saw the difference. Whereas, oh my God, she's more submissive and stuff like this. But with that being said, it had its own terms of toxicity, of being toxic. I can't get the
Hmm.
word out. It had its own
Toxicity.
form of being toxic, so to
Yeah.
speak. So just because you might not see this form of toxicity might not mean that there's other forms of toxicity in the case. And like I said, it could be situations where, hey, everything is all good, but pretty much going into that situation, I already had it in my mind that, oh, I'm not going to deal with no attitude and, stuff like this, yada, yada. It's a preconceived notion
Mm.
because that's so how much distrust that we have in our community. You get what I'm
Wow.
saying? So yeah, man. You look at now, right? Even if a woman find a good black man and things are going good, a lot of women nowadays talking in their mind like something got to be wrong. This guy's just too perfect. So it's like there's so much distrust, like it's crazy. So, like I said, you can go outside of the race and date outside of black. That's fine and dandy, but do it because you want to. If you're looking for different, like you're thinking it's going to be different, whatever, yeah, it may be different. But what I want to know is your approach different as well? Because
Mm.
if you're approaching this situation all nice and hunky dory, but you was treating the not Tyrone, because but you were treating this well educated black man with attitude and whatever the case may be, or take me as I am, but yet you kind of transitioned and made an attitude adjustment, so to speak, your whole character change for this individual, then is that really playing on equal playing field, so to speak? So that's the question that I have is these women who do date outside of a race, do they act different as opposed to when they're dating a black person? I don't have no kind of statistics on it, but that's what I'm assuming
Okay.
tends to come into play, you know?
I hear what you're saying. I
Because
also,
because
yeah.
like I said, I know it's anecdotal. That was the approach I had when I dated a white woman.
Mm.
So that's why I formulated that could be the reason.
Wow. Okay. I see what you're saying. And I think the other thing is too, like, I don't know, when you said even if the man is perfect, I got to side eye you on that one. Ain't
No,
nobody
no, I
perfect.
know nobody's perfect, but you know
All
what I'm
men
like.
have their thing.
Everybody do, but what I'm saying is that man was perfect for the things that you wanted, as far as your checklist.
I see
He's
what you're
he
saying.
that's what I mean. Yeah, nobody's perfect, not at all, but he was
But
perfect
yeah,
for the checklist.
I don't know. I do feel like I haven't been in a relationship with a white man, but I
Hmm.
have been, like courted by one. And to me, the approach was completely different. Like, I don't know. This is it. And I know people are going to kill me for this, but it's like in my experience, it was just more of a, like they went out of their way. They did more. Like it was just, I don't know, like just very,
I'm gonna
hey, first thing in the morning, it was like, did you have your morning coffee? Do you want me to send it to you? Or hey, did you eat today? Okay, do you wanna go? Like even showering you with stuff. Like, okay, this is what's going on. Do you have it? Because I know it's near the holidays. Like it was just the approach was different, and I don't know. Maybe
trust
he was
me.
just trying to win
Trust
me
me.
over.
Trust me. I understand because when you're dating outside of your race, it's like you're treating the situation with kid gloves. You get what I'm saying? Because it's like, yo, especially like, okay, if I had it in my mind where, yo, I really want to date a white woman, whatever, because like, let's just say like I had a fetish for it, and then I got one. Of course, I'm gonna treat it different. So if you have a white man who wanted a black woman, of course you're going to treat the situation different. If you're a black woman who wanted a white woman, of course you're going to treat. It's just like if you as a black woman said, yo man, I wish I could get my hands on I say Anthony, on Dwayne the Rock Johnson, and then you get your hands on Dwayne the Rock Johnson, of course you're going to treat it different because that's what you wanted. You get what I'm saying? So or even if it is a black man where you like, yo, that dude right there that I've been seeing in the club, that's the guy that I want. Once you get him, you're gonna treat it with kid gloves. Now, longevity wise, is it gonna stay that? Don't know. But you treat stuff with kid gloves if that's what you really wanted and you got it.
I don't know, because even then when you get it, or the
Hmm.
person is receiving you, they could still say or do something that could be a turn off. It's not like you make it seem like like it's a unicorn, like, oh my god, because I really wanted it.
Mm-mm, mm-mm, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying
Okay.
is, if it's the person that you really want, if it's a person that you really want and a person that you don't really care to have, those two people could do the same exact thing that may rub you the wrong way. But the person that you really want, you'll give him more leeway than the person that you don't really care to give that opportunity to. So that's what I'm saying. So it's if it's a pretty girl that if he's dating two women, one that's very beautiful or pretty and the other one is average looking, the one that's pretty, she can get away with doing more grimy stuff to him than the one that's mediocre, because
Mm,
that's the eye candy that he want. That's the one that fits the preference that he want. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, of course the person can do something to turn you off, but since that's the thing that you really want, you're more likely to turn the blind eye towards it, as opposed to if it was somebody that you really didn't want, so to speak.
okay.
That's all I'm saying. I'm
I
not
understand
saying that
what
I'm
you're
not
saying.
saying it's definite and concrete. I'm just saying you give more leeway towards the things you want.
Okay, I
That's
can
all.
understand
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
and I think the other thing too that I wanted to point out that the article had mentioned about, oh,
Mhm.
more black women need to consider dating, if not marrying, white men. A lot of us are afraid of the fact that we may be fetishized. We don't know is if a man is really with us because he genuinely wants to be with us, or if it's for a different reason. And it's sad and unfortunate, but it is something that, we have to think about. Or do
It
you
is.
think we're overthinking it?
I mean, that could be the case in some situations, but that's why I say, man, if you're gonna be with somebody, be with them because you want to be with them. You genuinely like. If you're going into it just like saying, "Okay, I'm gonna be with a white man just to be with a white man or whatever," all
Yeah.
right, that's fine and dandy. You could do that, but whoever's the person that you choose, make sure you want to be with the person. Don't be doing it just for the sake of doing it. That's all I'm saying. So once you start connecting with that person, you can kind of gauge it and see if they want to be with you just for fetish reasons or whatever the case may be. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'm a person. I don't care if this person make you happy, that person make you. I don't care who it is, as long as you get with that person for the right reason. It doesn't matter what nationality they are. Do what makes you happy. That's what I say. And if it happens to be a white man, hey, kudos to you. Because
Absolutely.
I was never one of them people that see a black woman dating a white guy and I'm like, what is she doing with him? No, not at all. I was never like that. And
Mm.
if we're gonna do that, then why is it got to be exclusive to a white man? Then you should feel the same way if it's a Spanish person or if it's an Asian person. You get what I'm saying? Like, marry or be with who makes you happy.
I
That's what
definitely
it comes
agree.
down to. Now, as far as the marriage thing, um, like I said, we always had a conversation on this. I just see it as a lot of black men feel like they have a lot to lose when it comes to marrying. And like I said, we can delve into that where it's like, oh, men have rights and stuff like that. That's another conversation for another day. But I'm talking strictly on the surface. A
Yeah.
lot of black men feel like they have a lot to lose. And on top of that, they're dealing with women that basically is telling them plainly to their face, I can do better without you, so to speak. So it's kind of like it makes guys look at it like, dang, man, like you don't want me, you think the worst of me. And we have a lot to lose if we go that route of marrying you and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's what plays into the whole marrying situation. But with that being said, too, believe it or not, there's a lot of women who really don't care for getting married too, though.
I mean, I
You know,
understand,
you
and I
know.
think it is also because of the fact of, being hurt, some of the things that we've seen.
Hmm.
But just to backtrack a little bit off of what you said, looking again solely off of statistics, right? In
Hmm.
terms of pretty much like if you look at how black women are outpacing, even if it is slow, we are outpacing black men. What really are black men afraid to lose if we're catching up to you?
I
So,
guess because of the statistics when it comes to who initiates divorces, so to speak. And this is another thing too. You got to look at it as far as upbringing goes, because in the I'm assuming, like I said, I'm not white or anything like that. I'm assuming in the white
You're
community,
not?
I've been called Oreo, so it is what it is. But I'm assuming in the white community and their upbringing, it's taught marriage. No matter what you do with your career and everything like that, you need to have that significant other. I don't think they teach independency, so to speak. Yes, you can be independent, but it's taught if you need if you for you to go that extra step, you have to have that person beside you. And
Yeah.
I think more people in the white community understand that marriage is a business, so to speak, where it's like, what can you do for me and what can I do for you? We see it all the time. Look at all these celebrity, like celebrity marriages, whatever, the Jeff Bezos and all of this stuff like that, Bill Gates and all that. Like, their marriage, when you see it comes to an end, you literally can see that this was a business partnership. So I think in the white community, so to speak, and it's
I don't
passed
agree
down
with
to,
that one.
you said you don't agree.
I don't agree that
Oh,
it's about business.
hey, you may not agree, but that's how I feel. I feel like they understand that it's a business partnership at the end of the day. Yes, you can have, love and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, I think they definitely preach marriage is important. Whereas I think in our community, we're being taught to be independent.
I
So I
can
think that's
yeah.
where the difference is.
I can definitely agree with that one. But in terms of being a business, I don't agree with that part because if that's the case, they would never divorce. Like I've seen many instances where I feel like they preach the difference is I see a lot of like family. They preach connectivity and those sort of things. But like I've seen many instances where there were some women who, white women who are very well off, stay at home moms even, and the moment their kids went to college, as soon as that last one matriculated, it was like, okay, yeah, it's time for a divorce now. So that's why I'm like,
Yeah,
if it was about a
but
business,
that technically that is a business because you basically stuck in there to make sure all the kids are grown and
but that's
everything
not
like
a
that. And
business.
now you went, it's not a business, but it's
Because
like,
think about it, if it was all about business, we would never divorce because of the simple fact that it's too many things at stake, too much property to divide, it's too
mm-mm.
much.
How many businesses go separate ways once they see that they're at a certain peak where they're like, okay, I can branch off and now start doing my own thing. The reason why I made it to this peak is because I needed somebody else to bring me to this peak, and now that I'm at that financial pinnacle at this stage of my life, I can venture into the things that I wanted to.
I mean, if that's the analogy you want to use, but like I
That's a
said,
business.
I still don't agree that that's a business.
All right. So
I mean, I don't know.
the
Maybe
minute government started making that you had to do paperwork and everything for a marriage, it became a business. That's the way I see it. That's the way
okay.
I see it. Because before that, you didn't need government or the marriage license and all of this stuff like that. So if you need to get a marriage license, you pay the money to this, you pay the money to that, and then for you to break up, now you got to go through legal systems of who gets what, yada yada. That's a business. Because if I was in a business, if me and you, matter of opinion, blow up, whatever, and then we decide to go separate ways, the legal system is going to be like we're going through a divorce court, so to speak, on who gets what, who gets this, who gets that. It's a business.
I hear what you're saying.
I know you strongly don't agree, but that's how
I didn't say I strongly
see it. That's
disagree.
how I see it,
Okay, I understand now. I understand now.
That's a
When
way
you
of
break it
saying,
down
yeah,
like
I.
that, I understand. But no, yeah, you're absolutely right. I understand. I get it. But yeah, I don't know. I just still feel like again when you look at the statistics, it's like I hear, some black men are like, yeah, I don't want to get married because of this, and that. But it's like realistically, sir, you don't have that much going for yourself. Like, what are you
No,
afraid of losing?
nah, they don't.
Your
I think
last
they're
name?
nah. The thing I think they're afraid of losing is pretty much wind up paying child support and stuff like that. Because it's like, damn, I barely have enough now, and now it's gonna tomorrow is gonna come out of my little bit of pockets, whatever that can hurt me financially. I think child support and having the kids and wind up losing the kids or having a part-time situation with the kids, because believe it or not, there's a lot of fathers who actually love their kids and cherish the time with their kids or whatever. So being in that divided situation and stuff like that, trust me when I tell you, that can take a toll on your mental health, trust me. So those
But
are those are certain aspects that a lot of men look into.
I understand. I'm just gonna play devil's advocate for a little
Hmm.
bit. If that's the case, right, and
Hmm.
men feel like they have so much to lose, why not put more effort into the marriage so that divorce is not an option?
Because you can't really say that, because at the end of the day, you don't know what a woman can be thinking, man, because
If you
you
have communication, like here's the
you
thing, we're not gonna sit here and make it seem like okay, women are just filing for divorce because we just woke up one day and was like, I would actually do better if I got half his check, took the kids with me. Now I can get child support. Like, no, we don't wake up one day and it's like that. Like, there has to be some underlying issues.
put it put it like this.
Okay.
There's been situations where you have two people, right, who the man was the breadwinner while they're married, then all of a sudden she become the breadwinner. Now she start thinking of him as less of a man, and now it's like, okay, I need a bigger and better project.
Mm.
You got simple situations like that, where it's like whatever little thing, once you start thinking of him as less of a man and lose respect for him, you're pretty much done. And women, I mean, you can know better, like you can speak on it better than I can, but women want somebody who they feel can lead them, so to speak. And if you have a lot of cases where when women make more money than the man, they feel like that man is less of a man.
See,
So
I'm gonna have to disagree only because I feel like and I could be using my anecdotal evidence, that my
mhm.
circle of friends. I feel like that woman had that in her prior to that job or whatever it was to help her be that breadwinner.
Oh
Because
yeah.
if you have, yeah, so that's why I'm like, come on, we that A
No,
word, we got to
no,
take accountability.
no.
So I'm pretty sure it was something in her, something she did, whatever behavior she may have exhibited to let you know, even if it wasn't, oh, she's materialistic, it had to have been something to let you know, like, something about the situation isn't copacetic. And then, okay, once she got the money or she got the, status, whatever it was, now all of a sudden she's looking at you as less than. No, she didn't just look at you as less than. There were characteristics there that I think the man probably overlooks because I'm just speaking personally, even being in a situation where, if you do make more money, to me a man can still lead, even if a man doesn't have a job, because like I look at what the definition of a man is differently. I don't look at it by how much you make. So you can still lead even if you're unemployed, even if you are on unemployment, or even if you have a job that's, you're making less than I am. So that's why I said I think it depends on the type of woman that the man chooses, because leading, to me, when I think of a leader, in terms of a relationship, finances is now the only thing I will say in terms of a leader in finances is if he knows how to handle money. So even if, let's say I'm making 100K, and my guy's making 30K. Okay, yeah, you may say, oh, on paper, oh, she's the breadwinner, she should know this and that, she's in charge of. No, but if you are better with money and the finances, you can still be a leader and lead in that way. So that's why I'm like, to me, it had to be something in that woman before that.
That makes perfect sense, and I agree with you 100%. But with that being said, if it was something in her, trust me, if that woman is up to ill will, she can play it off and play her role. And once the opportunity presents itself, look, man,
Pounce.
you can't fake an orgasm to a man for years, and little does he know you haven't been orgasming. So if you can fake something like that, why wouldn't you be able to fake, your intentions as far as, hey, I'm gonna use this person as a stepping stool, and once I get to where I need to get to, I'm a biz ounce,
Good point.
you know?
Mic drop.
So
I don't have
yeah.
nothing else to say.
So, you know.
No, but you make a really good point. And like in general, like you said, circling back to the
Yeah.
article, I do feel like in general, women, regardless of color, you should date, marry whoever it is that you want to,
Yeah.
preferably for love. Hopefully, there's no ulterior motive, because if
Hmm.
it is, chances are, like, and I'll make it brief. I remember I had one situation. I was dating this gentleman who was much older than me,
Hmm.
and the thing that caught my attention was the fact that, oh, he had status. He was in a
Hmm.
fraternity. Everybody knew
Hmm.
his name. He had owned his own home, car, like all of that stuff. But he was a jerk, type A personality,
Yep.
verbally abusive, all of those things. But I overlooked it because it was like, no, but he has the status and he
Yeah.
has this,
Yeah.
that, and this, and that. And he wasn't even a good father.
Hmm.
Like he had his daughter, I think maybe like once a month, if that, or twice a month. And when he did, I had her.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it was a lot. And then literally the moment he lost his job because of his temper, it was like something clicked inside of me, like, oh, he really is like this. Oh,
Hmm.
we really aren't
Hmm.
compatible. Oh,
Hmm.
so
I agree. Yeah.
when you do date or marry someone and you have an ulterior motive, or it's for something other than love, the moment they lose it, that's when you really see that person's true colors. That's when
Yep.
you really see if you really love this person
Yep.
or want to be with them for them. So, despite what the New York Post says or any other article, I say marry and date for love.
Yeah. And here's the thing too. By no means, and am I not saying men are at fault? No, we men, us men in the black community, we definitely play a role in the reason why the numbers are low as far as marriage and divorce rate is high. We definitely play a role in it. But all I'm saying is, at the end of the day, marry who makes you happy, and not always just because you date outside of your race is that it's going to be hunkadory. Marry
Absolutely.
the person for, if you can be around this person for through the ups and downs. Marry them because you love them. Like there's so many different things, but if it's just for like a singular goal because they got money and stuff like that, then that's a facade. That's a facade. So that's all I'm saying on that. It's women, yes, men are at fault also, black women. So
You admit
that's why
it.
I'm leaving it at that. Yeah, yeah. I
That's a
know.
good
I know it
test.
goes hand in hand. It takes two to tangle. Like it takes two to
Absolutely.
tangle. It's just the men will sit there and say, "Oh, it's not our fault." The women will sit there and say, "No, it's not our fault." Man, it takes two to tangle.
Absolutely. It's
So
all
that's
our
the
fault.
that's the way I see it. Exactly. So the minute we all can realize this and hold ourselves accountable, then we'll get better results.
I definitely
That's the
agree
way I
with
see it.
you.
Yeah.
Definitely agree with
Yep.
you. Well, I definitely want to hear what you all have to say in the comment section. Do you agree with the New York Post? Do you think that more black women, especially women who have, these high achieving careers and, these 3 and 4 degrees, like, do you think that the New York Post is right and they should look into marrying outside of their race to change the trajectory of their lives and get married?
Hmm.
Or do you think it's rubberish and you should marry who you want? I want to hear what you have to say. Or for those out there who feel like you shouldn't date or marry outside of your race, period, I definitely want to hear what you have to say in the comments.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
We want pretty much we want to hear from everybody's point of view.
exactly. Like, what do
You
you
feel
think?
me?
And again, this came
Exactly.
from the New York Post. You could Google it and check out the article yourself.
Hmm.
And, I think we both can agree you should marry and date for love.
Definitely.
Don't have an ulterior motive because it can hurt you at the end. But that's it for me. Do you have anything else to add?
Just if it's your first time here, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button. And those who are subscribed, we appreciate your support and
Yes.
sticking with Matter of Opinion and helping us grow to where we are now. And again, hit that like button and share it amongst your social media. And if you want to follow us on all our other platforms, the links are in the description. That's going to do it for this episode. I'm your boy, Walls P,
And it's your girl, that educated lady.
and we will catch you guys on the next episode.
Peace.
Peace.
It's a matter of opinion.